You are now listening to the Project Kuwait. Where we stop at nothing to bring you the right facts on health, fitness, and psychology. Featuring some of the world's most experienced professionals. So you can learn, live, and live. With your hosts, Meg, Dr. D, and Mehdi. 10 myths.
Awesome myths.
On the mind.
And you'll be very, very surprised. You gotta listen to this episode because I was surprised at some of those information.
Very true.
Very productive.
It was, and it was out of Psychology Today. They wrote 10 myths about the mind. It was a pretty good article. Good read, by the way. And yeah, I think you broke it down pretty well, Dr. D.
And I think those 10 things really, expand in other ways. I'm sure that other people also feel. So if you are interested in realizing what are the 10 myths, how did we think about it, did I agree or not agree?
Sexual addiction,
does it really exist?
Grief. We went on grief for a while.
We did go on because grief is a big important thing that a lot of people have been experiencing.
Left brain, right brain.
That's right.
And what was the other one? Left brain, right brain. We had visual, auditory learners, intelligence.
That's right.
So there were some really good things in there that you would be surprised that are myths and that are true. And I think we came to the same conclusion that we really don't know that much about the human body and as it continues to develop.
It's true, very true.
And at the end of the episode, we get into dealing with grief. We talk about my grief a little bit.
And my grief.
Yep, Dr. D's and my situation in front of my son the other day. And then we are going to have a contest. So make sure you stay tuned on Instagram because it's between me and Dr. D, and vote for Mehdi.
Vote for Dr. D.
And don't forget to leave us a rating and review.
All this and more in today's episode.
I can't find number 2, Dr. D. We're on, by the way. I do this all the time.
Why do you do this all the time?
I love having the
control.
You
don't prepare me, and I just we're on already, Dr. D.
I know. I like when you're unprepared. You're a lot more relaxed.
I like more fun?
Yeah, you are. You're actually a lot more fun.
You were just saying about my videos that is they're script. They're not script.
I swear this is me. Are you getting mad at me?
No,
I'm just being honest.
But they're not scripted.
But I'm being honest with you. It's. I get a different Dr. D here.
Of course, there's only two of us in this room.
Like a lot of people say that too. Well, not a lot of people, but the people who know us and know the show.
Yeah.
They're like, it's so weird watching her Instagram versus listening to her and watching her on the Project Kuwait.
Yeah,
it's almost
true,
like
right?
she's a completely different person.
I'm just relaxed.
See,
and it's fun, and it's the
because
atmosphere.
It's my
Plus,
house.
I don't have 3-4 people in front of me that are trying to judge you.
Ooh,
they're saying they're not judging you, but you're like the expert, and they're doing the show.
But do you care?
Well, I say I don't care, but obviously I care. I wouldn't be scripted.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not that I care they're going to say something about me, but maybe I care about the way it comes out. I don't know. Something must be.
See, I never care.
We have to care sometimes. You can't live life without caring about anything.
When I look at it in retrospect, I'm like, okay, does this person really give a crap about what I look like, what I'm wearing, what I'm doing, or my actions? Okay, the most they're going to do is talk about it for 15 minutes with their buddies or whatever. But at the end of the day, if I'm comfortable in my own setting, that's all that matters. The only time I do care is when I have a conversation with someone and I think I said something stupid that may have offended them. That's when I actually care, and it's more of guilt than anything else. So
I don't know. I think people have overusing this idea. I don't care. Who cares about what people think about me? I think it's all BS, because if that's true, then why is it that we're constantly catering our Instagram so that way other people might like it? And why do we, whenever we're in front of other people doing presentation, I have to be a certain way? And why is it that when I'm meeting with my students, I'm different, and when I'm here, different? Somehow unconsciously, I must care, because I say I don't care. I say that. Even the guys on TV is like, you're the expert here. Who's going to know what you're doing or not doing? But still, so you're like, yeah, you're right. But still, it must be a level of I care.
But at the end of the day, when you put it out on TV, like if another psychologist sees you and they're like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, that's where you need, but you don't need to worry because you know your shit. If you know your shit.
I don't think I'm worried about my information. I think that,
I love
to
it.
me.
You say information. I say if you know your shit.
I think it's more like how it's presented. Even though you say to yourself, I don't really care. They want me to do this. I'm doing them a favor. I'll just do it. But I think I think a lot of people use this, I don't care, but they do care.
But do you think I care?
Yeah, I think you do care.
Really?
Of course. You You care about what Haya thinks of you. You care about what your coach thinks of you.
No,
you
I
care
really
about
no.
how
My,
your
my
body and how
hold
your
on, hold on. My coach, I definitely don't care what he thinks of me.
you care about how your boss think of you.
No, I don't.
There must be an element of I care. There's no 100% I don't care. I totally disagree with that.
I honestly, but I don't care.
Maybe
That's
you
the
don't
thing.
because
And when it
it's in
comes
the
to work,
unconscious.
but when it comes to work and like, there's a level of professionalism because I get paid to do a job.
Yeah.
Now, when I do my job, I'm very straightforward and I don't care whether they're going to accept my recommendations or not. At the end of the day, I want to do the job to the best of my ability, whether it upsets someone or it doesn't. And people always say to me, you know, you should have said it differently. I'm like, but dude, I don't care. I'm doing the right thing. At
Well,
the
maybe
end
I
of the
should
day,
rephrase. I need to rephrase. What I need to
I
rephrase
got
is that
you caught in
no,
your
is that
words.
is that the idea of like there is no I don't care 100% of everyone in our life. I don't care when it comes to certain places, certain people, but definitely I care when it comes to certain other people.
Well, I care about DJ. Like I care.
think you care
I
about
care about my impression in front of my son. Like
and
I
your
don't.
and your wife, maybe your father.
Sometimes.
I mean, I don't know. I
Again.
can't tell all these people, but what I'm saying is that when people say I don't care and they act like it is definitely 100% everywhere. I mean, we know we have so many roles in our lives and we have different characters and we are different people in different places. There must be a person or a situation or a place we do care. But I think it makes you look better when you say, I don't care. Like, you know, I ask people all the time in my class. Whenever we're talking about perception, no, I don't care. I don't want to be the same as everyone else. Then why is conformity so high in the world?
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
People like constantly give you this thing about, no, I don't care. I like being different. We spend all the time trying to be the same. I mean, look
Yeah,
at
that's a good point.
Instagram, you know?
That's a good point. No, that's very true.
And so I feel like people just use I don't
But
care.
again, like, all right, I tried to conform and wear something nice to my cousin's birthday party, and I lasted 20 minutes in a button-down t-shirt. And then I literally took the button down off. I took it off in the middle of the restaurant. I was wearing a t-shirt, you know, it was a burrito bowl t-shirt underneath because I
Like
got
you
it.
couldn't have
And
put something better.
I got it for free at a Bruins game. Well, actually, Hey, I got it for free because it was her birthday. And it was Chipotle that gave her the shirt, actually. So I'm wearing that under. My cousin looks at me. She's absolutely appalled. I'm like,
Obviously.
what? I was like, I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable wearing a button-down shirt. I was friggin' uncomfortable. I didn't like it. So I wanted to be myself. I wanted to be normal. To me, that's normal. To other people, that's like, oh, you know, this guy has no respect or whatever.
I mean, I feel like that's selfish of you, though.
How's
Do you know
that
why?
selfish?
Because this
it's
is my
selfish of them for
No,
not letting
it's
me be
my
myself.
Then don't come. It's my birthday. I want the birthday to be certain. I've invited certain people that I care about. I had a certain ambiance. And I would like people to respect that. Now, if you're uncomfortable in a button-up shirt, and then don't come, because the idea is that I've invited people that I care about, and I want a certain image for my picture for my birthday.
Well, she got the picture. I had the shirt on for the picture.
20 minutes?
Yeah, that's
Why do
good.
people have to put up with that?
Dr. D, I wear a button shirt every day to work. I wear pants or khakis to work every day.
It's a birthday
During
party.
the weekends and at night, I'd rather be in training pants or shorts and a t-shirt.
Then you're just thinking of yourself.
Exactly. I'm thinking of my
But that's
level
my
of comfort.
birthday. It's your
But it's my
cousin's
level of-
birthday.
Then don't invite me, like you said. I wouldn't be
Don't go.
offended. Like, I wouldn't be offended.
No. She invited you.
I have to go to a
You
wedding.
should have said, look, if I have to wear my button shirt more than 2 hours, I'm not coming. Be honest.
No, it'd be more than 20 minutes. I have to go to a wedding, okay? And everyone was like, what are you going to wear? Are you going to wear a suit? Or are you going to wear... I was like, I'm wearing dishdasha.
Well, yeah,
They were
okay.
like, why? I was like, because I can take off the Khatan Nagal after 20 minutes. I'm fine. You know, like,
So it's okay.
for me,
then you
it's
should wear a
easier.
dishdasha for a birthday.
No, I wasn't going to do that. It was
Well,
a
it's a-
birthday. It wasn't a wedding. A wedding's
at a
more important.
restaurant.
A wedding's way more important.
Was it at a restaurant?
Yeah, it was at a restaurant. I didn't really care.
And obviously, your cousin wants to celebrate her birthday.
She was fine with it. She probably knew I was going to do that shit. They were probably expecting me to show up in like a t-shirt and jeans. When in reality, I showed up half decent. So I guess she was very happy.
You sound like you've done them a favor.
I really did.
They've done you a favor by inviting you.
Most likely, yeah. They probably did. And that's...
They realize you don't have a social life. And let's give them something more than just working out.
Actually, it's funny. I get invited a lot.
Do you really?
I really
I've never heard anything that you go anywhere.
I don't.
You just go to the gym to work and come home and stay with your family.
And the podcast. I mean,
Oh,
come
of
on.
course.
Who runs the show? All right.
Yeah, but this is not
It takes-
socialization.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of
Can we
time.
say that you're an introvert?
Hell no.
You are an introvert.
I'm going to be in front of 500 people this weekend emceeing an event. There's no way I'm an introvert.
Well, that doesn't mean that you're not an introvert.
And I have a lot
Who
of friends.
says that you are?
I have a ton of friends.
But you enjoy your time alone.
It's not really alone. It's priorities. In
But
all
you
honesty,
enjoy
it's
being by
priorities.
yourself. Do you get your energy from being around people, or do you feel like people suck your energy when you spend quite a time with them?
It depends on the person. Like, it depends on the people. I don't know.
No, there's no depend on the people.
No, it depends
You're
on
in
the
a-
people.
You're in a social setting. Extroverts,
At
they
the gym,
love going to
at
the
the
social
gym,
setting.
at the gym, there are people where I feed off of their energy. Yes, like 100%, I'll feed off of their energy. If they're there and I'm talking to them or whatever, I'll probably have a good lifting session. But then there are people at the gym that if they are there, it's like, oh my god, like really, they do kind of not suck the energy out of me, but put a damper on it. You know, and then it's the same with at work. But in general, like I do have a social life when I want one, but I prioritize
So you get invited a lot?
a lot, and I always say no.
Just say yes and I'll go with you. You and Heya.
I
You're the
don't
only
have the
two people I
time.
like to hang out with.
I know we're cool.
I mean, I hang out with, but I
Appar-
hardly ever hang out with you because you
apparently-
never invite me.
Apparently, we're
You're
so,
not that cool.
apparently we're so cool that we turned down a lot of people in 1 week. And
Did you really?
I told you we got invited
know,
by
you should've-
someone to
You
dinner.
should have said yes. I'm bringing my psychologist.
Next time I
This is
will.
a good way for me to meet people.
Next time I'll be like, look, I won't go, but I'm going to tell my shrink. And
I'm not
she
coming
will
by
go.
myself.
I'm going to tell the co-host of the show. She'll go and
But
she'll.
I like official invitations. Like I'll do those. Like when you've got invited like embassy or diplomatic stuff or some kind of a social gathering.
Haya had to force me to that embassy event.
No,
She
I think it's
literally had
nice.
to force me. And then
I
you know
love
how
going
she
to
got me
these
to you know how
things.
she got me to go? She was like, Maddie, you got to think of the show. She was like, put yourself aside and think of the show. And I was like,
See?
you know what, you're right.
Put yourself aside. See, even your wife is giving you a message.
No, because it's not a social awkwardness. It's the whole like sometimes you got to put on that act. Like in a social setting like that, you can't tell people how you truly feel. Like they could say something outrageously stupid and you know it's stupid, or something that's outrageously false, right? And give this false perception, but you can't really say anything because you're in a social atmosphere. To me, that like kills me because it's like, I want to say this. Like if you're sitting in front of me, you're being this fake and I know the real you. Why are you putting on this phony act?
Because everyone needs to do whatever they need to do to be able to survive. So if this is their defense mechanism, who are you or me to say change it unless it's causing them
Okay,
some
but
discomfort?
don't be fake in front of me. It's like, dude, I knew you before
Maybe
you
they
got
don't want.
started.
Maybe
Like
they
I
don't.
know the real you. I know who you are.
But we all know that people do these things because this is their way of surviving.
Did you see the project shirt that I made that says "Be real, be true, be you"?
That's you, yes, and I
Yeah.
think that's a good motto
There
to have.
should be
But
a lot of people
can't.
that resemble that
But
to
you
be real,
know-
be true, and be you.
You know that people have tried to be real and to be themselves, and they were rejected.
But like anything in life, we don't give it enough time. We were talking about this earlier about the podcast. Most podcasts fail. Why? Because they think it's an overnight success. They think they'll see results in a year or 2 years. When in reality, that is not the case. It's like a lot of these stars, except for like the 0.0001%, a lot of them had to work their asses off to get to where they got. With, like Robert De Niro, these guys, they didn't just make it in Hollywood, right? They all started with low budget, crappy movies and sort of worked their way up.
I'm on my way out.
There you go.
See?
You're
That's
definitely.
why it's low budget
You're
and
gonna,
crappy.
you're gonna be the Dr. Ruth of Kuwait.
That's right. That's right.
I told you, you need to hire me to write your scripts.
But you're expensive.
Each script and topic for like the show,
I don't even have Wasta with you, or
No.
what? You don't
it's
give me
going to cost you
discount.
300 KD per show. That's a discount.
You can't write the show. They have to write the show. It has to be approved. That's why we have a director.
You know what? You're better off ditching them, hiring me, and starting your own YouTube channel.
They're nice people.
Yeah, well,
I really enjoy
I
being
can
with
give you
them.
better material.
Then you and I can do our own show.
Nah,
Uh-huh.
I fly solo. I only go on podcasts.
Yeah. I wonder
a
why you don't go
podcaster.
on TV, and now you're going to give me all the advice to be on TV when you don't even go on TV.
I'm not
And
going to
one episode I asked you, which would have 10 minutes, I would be with you and you didn't go.
I'm not a big TV person though.
Yeah, we got issues. Let's get on that
Well, hold on,
program.
wait,
I want you to ask
I
me
had
those
a surprise
questions.
for you after this, but we're not going to do it anymore.
You're not?
No, I
Just
had a
because you're
surprise.
pissed off
Now
now.
I'm pissed off, yeah. Pissed me
Whatever.
out.
Life doesn't revolve around you.
Hey, well, apparently I have a problem because I don't care. All right.
You do care. Remember,
No.
I said there's no one that doesn't
Look,
care 100%.
I care about my son's opinion about
so
me.
it's not 100%.
I care about
I don't
raising
care.
him the right way. But do I care going into a social situation? No.
You didn't hear what I said? I said there is no true 100% I don't care.
I did.
Because that would minimize your humanity. We do care, but we care at a different percent with different
in a
people.
different level, yeah. I care
That's what
about
I'm
not
saying.
hurting
So
feelings.
these people that are constantly saying, I don't care, Dr. D. I don't care. I want to live my life. But they do care because everything else around us says that we do care.
Well, hold on. All right. We'll go back to another thing. You really want to get to this? All right, we'll get to it. Don't worry. We're only 15 minutes in. Like, I still have some more points here for this.
I'm dying to see the surprise.
I'll get the surprise. We'll get it rolling. Keep the anticipation up.
I like a little kid.
But,
all
right, if I really cared, how many times have you seen me unshaved,
I
right?
don't remember. Unshaved?
I'm always scruffy. Like,
you are?
Yeah, I'm usually scruffy. My boss had to tell me to shave before a meeting with the chairman. And I was like, fine, I'll do it.
That's terrible. That's just...
But it's priorities, though. Like, I don't
You don't
have
prioritize
time.
yourself?
No, I don't prioritize. Self-care to me is going to the gym and getting my workout in and making sure I'm mobile and I can move well and I can lift heavy as shit weights. That's my priority. That's really my priority. Now, when it comes to like self-grooming or whatever, I take like 3 showers a day. But
Thank God.
I
You don't
don't.
stink.
No, yeah, I don't like to smell. Like, I don't like smelling my own body odor. You know, but in general, like when it comes to like going to the I haven't gone to the barber in like 5 months.
That's terrible.
My hair's never been this long, but I
Why
don't have the
should Haya
time.
have to put up with this?
She doesn't care. She might, but whatever.
She probably cares, but she doesn't want to tell you.
Like the guys make fun of my hair, but I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I saw on Instagram.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
was making fun of your
And
hair.
you know what? I play along with it. They're just jealous that they don't have my beautiful wavy straight hair that flies.
I love
when
the way we
do
don't have
lifts.
answers to people. We just say they're jealous. We never take any responsibility ourselves. It's all about someone else being jealous.
If they really cared, send a barber to my house to cut my hair.
No, if you
I'd be
care
more
about
than happy.
yourself, it's not about being with other people. It's if you care about yourself, you groom.
But it's priorities, though.
It is a priority.
My priority
It's
is
self-care.
my priority is work, or family, work, and
Shaving.
gym. I know, shaving, right? Gym,
Podcast.
right? And then it's like, I don't know, baseball or something, like self-enjoyment, you know,
So
like
where's self-care?
Self-care is the shower, dude. That's where I get that. Look, if I could get away with a buzz cut, I would do it. If I could just shave my own head at home, I'd probably do it.
Just go bald.
I
It's
wanted to, but I have an
easiest.
awkward looking head.
No, but then the other thing is,
doesn't
even
fit in
bald people
hats.
say it takes a lot of time because then you have to shave all the time.
Well, so there we go.
Doesn't
That
help
takes
you.
just as much time as going to the salon.
That's true.
You like how
You know, there
like
must
how I'm
be
holding
men
this
that come to
ransom
the
and
house.
I'm not talking about the topic.
I see you do. But I was thinking there are, we have a hair dressers or whatever you call them. They come to the house. There's a mobile salon for women. I'm sure there's one for men.
No, there probably is, but honestly, I can't be bothered. To
I mean, you're so
spend
good
that
on
money.
Instagramming and doing this. Check and look.
Yeah,
there must
but
be
then you're paying
there must
double.
be some like,
you're paying double the price, and is it really worth it? And
for God's sake, I'll pay for it. Just
my
call
my
it.
barber is like, I've been going to the same barber for almost 20 years now.
Oh, jeez.
Like he was 20 when I started, and now he's like my.
Oh, you've seen him get married. He has kids.
Oh, he's got like 6 kids now. Like,
Oh my God.
this guy's
so you
like,
have to support the 6 kids.
yeah,
somehow.
and it's like he sees me and he's like, he just shakes his head every time. He gets so pissed.
Of course.
He was like, you know what? I always give you a good haircut and you ruin it. You just let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's gotten used to it so many years. And it's funny because he cut my hair when I was a kid. When I moved back to Kuwait, I went to a barber. They screwed up my hair really bad because I get a fade that goes all the way up into like a buzz cut. And I ran into him almost like, I was like, dude, can you please fix my hair? They messed it up so bad. Like he's good. Gives the best fade.
That's nice. And they probably massage and steam.
That's at the
They do a
ladies'
lot of that.
salon.
No, even men do it.
I don't want that shit.
No, but that cleans up your pores.
I
for
don't
God's
want.
sake.
I don't want no guy massaging my head.
They massage the head,
That's
the
just
face.
weird.
They give you a facial. Men can get these
I don't
things
get
too.
facial. I've always
I
wanted
will
to get a
not like
facial.
a man that doesn't take care of himself.
I've
Sorry.
always wanted to get a facial though.
Yeah, man, at the salon, he probably will give you a facial.
I've gotten my nails done before.
Yes.
No, seriously.
To me, I'm not attracted to rough men. I want a man that I know he took care of himself. He should go and get a good shave, good haircut, do a massage, so that way the wrinkles, the pores are cleaned.
So all you guys out there, if you want to give Dr. D a call, you have to be silky smooth.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
You
At
gotta
least your nails, like they can't be dirty for God's sake if you have a dirty job.
See, I cut my nails. I keep them
But
short.
see, that's good. You know?
Do you know where I cut my nails?
when you're in the car.
No, walking outside the office because I'll take like mini breaks just to get my the blood circulating in my legs and move a little bit. So when I'm walking around outside, I'll cut my nails.
Well, good.
I try to be productive.
But there are products we can give you that will give you a facial or while you're walking, you could also do
But what
it
does a facial do for you?
It opens your pores and it cleans it up.
Can I go take a steamy shower?
Especially in this weather that we have.
Can I take a steamy shower?
No, it doesn't work. It has to be, you have to have
I
the
use
right
that
creams and
Alpine,
moisturizers.
I use that Alpine Swiss scrub stuff that my wife buys.
I don't know about
It's like
that.
a weird black scrub, and I'm just like, and yeah.
Okay.
Does that shit work?
I don't think so, but whatever.
You're like this guy.
I have no idea.
You're like this guy's sick. He's weird. He's got issues.
I don't know how I end up having all the crazy people, my friends.
Hey, you know what? It's all good. This is what the show's for.
Yeah,
So
I
you can
guess.
psychoanalyze me and help everyone else in the process.
No, I'm stuck with you. What can I do?
That's true because you can't fire me.
I can't fire you.
Because it's funny. Some people say they listen to the show for you, and some people say they listen for me, which is amazing.
Who's listening for you?
Everybody.
They're probably trying to like stroke your ego.
They just like hearing the sexy radio voice that I have.
Is that what it is?
They like.
I have a nice voice too.
You do. You have a good radio voice. You
Yeah,
actually
that's
really
right.
do have a good radio voice.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Thank you so much
not
for
a
that
good, not a good
compliment.
TV voice.
You're just a voice.
No, but yeah. All
But
right.
I'm cute on TV.
Yes, you are. You're very photogenic.
Yes.
You are extremely photogenic. Me too.
good.
Let's have a little race.
Let's have.
All right, everybody listening to the show. Okay. We want to see who likes who more. We're gonna have a judging contest.
Yes, I want to. And let's post it on Instagram. Who do you
Ooh,
like
Are you
more?
sure you want to do that?
That's fine.
You want to do a who do you like more,
I'm
Mehdi
tough.
or Dr.
Yes,
D?
yes.
I don't know about that.
I'm sure
How
you're
tough
going to
are you?
lose.
I don't know.
And then I'll post it on my Instagram. Let's do it tomorrow.
But that might bruise my ego. You can't post it on your Instagram
Why not?
because those are your fans, anyways. Those are
Are
people
you going
that
to
like
post
you.
it on your Instagram?
No, I'm going to post it on the project's Instagram.
It's the same thing.
No,
the
it's
project
not.
is you mainly.
No, you can
They don't
post
know
it.
me that much.
You can actually post it. You can repost on your Instagram so they go to the project and vote. But the listeners listening to the show who maybe not follow us on Instagram, go to the Project Kuwait on Instagram.
Okay.
And when this episode airs that day, I will put a post and you can judge who your favorite is on the Psyched with Dr. D. Is
Fine.
it the
I'm
owner of the
strong
show,
enough to
Dr.
handle
D,
it.
or is it Mad Dog Maddie with the
With
amazing voice?
Oh, gee.
You are now listening to the best podcast in the world.
Whatever.
What was
the
that
hell?
podcast we were listening to earlier? Please strap in your boots and get ready for the wildest ride. It was the weirdest
It was
intro,
weird.
dude. It was like
It was the
grungy
weirdest.
metal. Like, I know. It was so weird. Like, dude, if you're going to start
Who
a
starts
podcast,
like that?
like, all right, have a little music at the beginning, but it should last literally like 3 or 4 seconds. And then go into like, we got a new intro coming out, by the way.
Good.
Our sound guy.
Get to your surprise.
No, I like holding it ransom. Plus, you got to go.
I gotta go.
I know. All right. So, the 10 myths about the mind. Are you ready for this?
Oh, wow.
I'm going to see what you think in comparison to what Psychology Today has
Okay.
rated
what I think.
as some of the myths, some of the
Okay.
10 myths. But
All right.
I'm going to give a little. Oh, no, I found number 2.
All right.
I found number 2.
two.
It was printed at the bottom
We
of the
were
page.
missing number 2, people.
I know, but number 2 is actually a good one, too.
Let's see.
You'll enjoy number 2.
Okay.
All right, are you ready? Birth order. What does Dr. D say? What does Psychology Today say?
Adler says birth order is very important. I think it is. It has made me who I am because I'm the middle child. They never had time for me. So I believe it's true.
Well, research out of the United States and the United Kingdom and Germany found no significant correlation between
What do
birth
they
order
know?
and traits such as geniusness, consciousness, or imagination too. So
Whatever. What do they know?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, all studies can be set up with parameters
Of course.
see
I think birth order is very important. I mean, think about it. The first child we become very anxious about, and we spend a lot of time with them. And then they become very independent because we depend on them to help us with the rest of the kids. The middle child is always forgotten. And the last one, they're so old, they don't know how to raise him or her, and then they get spoiled. But now some people said that that's not true. But I feel it's true. So I don't know what this myth is about, but whatever.
Okay.
Next, number 2.
Number 2. Oh, you're giving up on it. Can I state my argument?
Yeah, let go.
I don't think it matters at all. I honestly think everybody's different. Birth order doesn't matter. I agree with you on that.
It does matter.
No,
I say it does.
Oh, you say it does? Sorry, I say it doesn't matter.
You really don't. But the environment matters.
I think the
Something must
environment.
matter.
I think the environment matters. I think the environment matters, but I don't think the birth order matters. I think if the environment is structured in a way that cultivates a certain personality, that's going to happen. It's just like
You don't think that having
not
siblings
young.
above you and siblings
what
below
was the
you
dude's
matters?
name? We took him in class. He had the social contexts where you had the house, and then you had the neighborhood, and then you had the city.
Maslow?
No, it wasn't Maslow. It was some other
I
dude.
can't remember the ecological system.
Oh, I remember the page too. It was a guy riding a bike, and then it had the whole circly thing. Shit, I'm dying to know what it is right now.
I wonder if it's Highness. I don't remember.
Who? Who?
I don't remember.
Heinz. I think it was with an H. It was a German dude.
Okay.
Most good
They're all
psychologists.
German dudes.
Most good psychologists came
They
out
all
of
came
Germany.
from
anyways.
German dudes.
I know, right? So I remember it distinctly from class.
Haynes did the personality, I think.
No, it wasn't abnormal. I think it might have been abnormal.
No, I meant
psychology.
he did the 5 personality traits.
No. It
It
wasn't.
wasn't him.
It was a guy. It was one of the things that we took in class where he said you take like certain characteristics from your household, and then you take characteristics from your neighborhood, then your city or town, then the city, then the country, and then the region. So it kind of shells out. And I think that the same thing applies. And I think it applies to the generations too. Like each generation is different. So,
Right, it's true.
but I don't think
I mean, I
personally
don't know. I think
birth
that
order matters.
I think I was influenced by the siblings that were above me and the siblings behind me. I probably influenced them. So, or I felt like the energy my parents spent on the older kids were not the same as the younger kids. So, I mean, maybe it's the energy or the environment. Maybe not exactly when you were born. I don't know. I guess the era we were born in, if there was a war, not war, trauma, I don't know.
Okay.
All those play a part. Anyways, number 2.
Sex addiction.
What's the question? What's the
That
myth
it's a
about?
myth. It's a myth.
There's no sex addiction?
It's a mind myth. Yeah.
But,
This is
addiction-
called 10 myths about the mind.
I know, but addiction in general, it is part of the mind. Are we talking about the brain or the mind?
We're talking about the brain.
That there's nothing called sex addiction?
It says it was taken out of the DSM-5.
It was taken out?
Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders,
Yeah,
DSM-5,
DSM.
used to make diagnosis in the United States and World Health Organization, has added compulsive sexual behavior disorder to its diagnostic guide, but stopped short of using the A word, which is addiction.
So, yeah, but they call it a compulsive sexual behavior.
It's stating whether a habit fits into a category of addiction.
Right.
Can
So,
be judged based on 6 criteria. Mark Griffiths, a psychologist out of Nottingham
yeah.
University, and he's equating it to like the object in question of heroin, gambling, and
Yeah.
pornography. He would say he's saying pornography or sexual addiction isn't.
He's saying sexual addiction is not the same as substance abuse
Yeah, he's saying-
addiction
yeah.
and gaming.
Yes,
But DSM-5 didn't take it out.
they didn't take it out.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what they're saying
They
here.
didn't. They shouldn't.
Okay.
But they're not calling it sexual addiction.
They're not
now.
calling it sexual addiction.
Right, because in DSM there's nothing called. But when they did some research, they noticed that people that were addicted, not sexual addiction. I'm thinking of porn addiction.
Yeah.
But they're talking about sex addiction, like people that want to have more than one partner in the same day.
Yeah, they're basically saying because it's not a substance.
It's not a substance.
It's not a substance.
Right.
But isn't
But then gaming,
wouldn't
pornography would
pornography
be. Yeah,
would
but
be
then
because it releases
you're a
serotonin.
porn addict.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not, yeah, exactly. But it's not a sex addiction. It's like engaging in a sexual act
What
with
about
more than one
what about
partner.
nymphomaniacs?
Then they're nymphomaniac. They're not sexual addiction.
Yeah, but isn't a nymphomaniac like addicted to sex anyways?
But I think nympho is not there anymore. I have to check again. I don't know.
All right. Well,
Sexuality is not really my major.
okay.
Oh, my forte. But it should be now. More and more people are addicted to something.
I know, right?
Jeez.
You're in the wrong business
I
nowadays.
am in the
You're
wrong
definitely in the.
I think I'm going to go get a new class.
All right, left brain and right brain. Basically, they're saying in this that it doesn't matter. That it's bullshit. Like left brain, right brain, creativity, all that it's BS.
I mean, in a way, I think maybe it is BS. But I've seen some people, but maybe you're right. No, I don't think it makes a difference. But I think there are people that would say to you, no, I'm a left brainer because I am an artist. I know how to, I'm more verbal.
Yeah.
So I wonder if these are skills that you honed in and became better.
Exactly.
Not that your brain told you.
Yep.
I see.
No, I could agree with that because at the end of the day, we don't know shit about the mind.
Yeah, it's
we
true.
really don't know anything about the brain,
so
the
I
mind,
think it's
and
a
how
myth.
it works.
I don't think it's true that people...
learning styles. And this leads into what you just said too.
Yeah, so learning styles, it's a skill you learn how to learn, but it's not like where your brain should be. There's no section in your brain that teaches you how to learn.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what this article is basically saying.
So there are people saying that there is?
No, that tailoring education to visual learners or auditorial learners doesn't make sense, which I agree with. I think everyone is different, and it's just how you trained yourself to learn.
That's true.
Like personally, me, I learn through the person in front of me. Like if you're a shitty teacher, I'm not learning it. I get a bad test results. It's probably why I did bad on all of your tests.
Because you don't...
I'm joking. It was a joke.
You did a good...
It was a joke.
No, I was just thinking...
It was a joke. I said I did bad on your tests because you were a bad teacher. Joking. But you're not. You're
Whatever.
a great, you're
I'm
a
trying
great
to dismiss
teacher.
you. No, but you know what I was trying to...
Yeah, that's not nice. Don't dismiss me. I'll cut you off every time.
No, I would never dismiss you. No, when you were saying that, I was thinking that nowadays, because most of these young kids are all learning through their iPad. So they're becoming a lot more visual. So from the beginning, when they're small, right? You see these kids a lot, like in the restaurant or everywhere, where they're just walking around with their iPad. They're in the car, they're watching. I wonder if the new learners are all becoming much more visual. So now we're thinking that people are visual learners when really they've learned to learn by watching.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I've noticed this new generation now, most all of them, they don't write or read anything by hand. Everything is seen and heard. So I think that would make a difference, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes a difference.
So it is the style that you've learned, not that you are a visual learner or a auditory learner.
You ready for this one? Multiple intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence, musical rhythm.
They're saying it doesn't exist.
They're saying that you can't.
You can have more than one intelligence.
No, you can't. Yeah, and you can't equate it to the IQ test because the IQ test is set up to measure certain parameters.
Verbal and
this one is saying what this is saying that you can cultivate the skill and breed off of it.
Right, it's true.
Which I would agree with.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, but they don't want us to call it multiple intelligence. It's multiple skills.
Yes.
You have
no, they're just saying it doesn't exist to say that you have multiple intelligence, like you're
because
highly
you can only
intelligent.
have intelligence verbal and performance.
Yeah,
because that's how we do with IQ.
Yeah, they're basically saying that your IQ test doesn't determine if you are able to create art or able to create music or able to create something of a higher intelligence. You could have a low IQ test but
you can still be a great
IQ
performer.
But a great performer, exactly.
Yeah, which is true. I agree with that. Because there are people that you test and their IQ is low, but then they end up being really great at guitar or some sort of performance or drama or creativity. It's there. So maybe it's true.
Yeah, I agree.
Because remember, IQ is an overall estimate of your function. So let's say in their verbal, they didn't get a high score, but there was a category in there like information. They were very good at it. Or vocabulary, they were really good at it. So the idea is that we calculate the total of the verbal section but that verbal section has a lot of subtests. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's what Gardner says.
Yeah,
Said
that's
the
what
same-
Gardner
Gardner
says.
just said the same exact thing. he said.
Exactly.
So yeah, Gardner's the man. Oh, I like this one because we just had an episode on it. And not us. Well, the Project Quake just had an episode with Coach Paul Raddick.
Okay.
And he came out and said this plain as day. The 10 hours of practice, the 10,000 hour rule.
10,000 hour of rule. That's a myth.
That it's a myth. It's bullshit.
That we don't need to practice 10,000?
No, no, it doesn't matter. Like you can practice 10,000. You're not going to be the best.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There are people that don't practice as much and they're very good. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, that's
like practice anything?
No, yeah. Like, you know how they say if you do 10,000 hours of practice, you're going to be an expert? That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's not true.
Like
10,000 hours of playing piano?
Yeah.
And
that's
it doesn't
bullshit.
do anything.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not going to make you live friggin' whoever. What's the piano famous?
Mozart.
Yanni. It's not going to make you know Yanni. And that's what Paul said.
Because everybody thinks, do you think these people, they've practiced forever and ever? That's how they got to the level that they are.
No.
You're saying it's not true at all.
No.
There are people who haven't practiced, but they've got the skill. Because genetically, they might be predisposed to that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's some people that have art and fine arts and music as a gene. So these people already are able to cultivate that gene.
It's the genetic lottery. Like you just have it.
You just have it or don't have it. So, but there are people that don't have the musical side of them, but then they can become musical. But those people have to practice.
You can learn it, but you're never going to be like a Led Zeppelin. I mean, let's be realistic.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, what Paul said, and I quote, is he said, we only tell ourselves about the 10,000 hour rule to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah,
that's it.
True.
You know, we believe
and to motivate us to practice.
Yeah, like
right?
you can get good, you can be good,
right?
But you'll never be a superstar by practicing 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
If I equate all of the CrossFit I've done in the last year, it's well over 10,000 hours. And
are you good at it?
I'm good, but I'm not like at the pro level. I'm nowhere near that.
Wow. Okay.
Like I'm nowhere near the pro level. Like my coach, he dances circles around.
So how do you get to become a pro at it?
Well,
by practicing some more.
Yeah, but you have the genetic component. Like some people, their fast twitch muscle fibers click faster. You know, it's just built genetics. Like LeBron James, and you know, Paul again brought this up. He's like, LeBron James has a brother. He just didn't win the genetic lottery. Looks exactly like LeBron, same height, everything, but just sucks at basketball.
So you can see that genes are becoming more and more important in the development of our personality.
Oh, yeah.
Our skills, our intelligence.
100%.
Yes.
100%. I totally believe
so
that.
I agree. Okay.
So, yeah, 10,000 hours, bullshit.
10,000 hours, bullshit.
Ooh, you're going to disagree with this one.
I'm sure.
The depression gene.
That's true. There's no depression gene?
That's not what Psychology Today's saying.
Well, I don't know where they got their information. They were just recently in a research that said that it's not the depression gene, but there are certain genes that are more prone to having mental illnesses. What are they saying? Read word by word. Because I want to know this.
The likelihood that one will experience anxiety, an episode of major depression on an autism spectrum diagnosis is to some degree directed by genetics. You have a much higher risk of having depression if you have a sibling or parent with depression.
Yes.
And the same is true for schizophrenia and basically psychiatric conditions.
Yes.
Says
I agree.
Kevin Mitchell.
Okay.
A neurogenetics at Trinity College, Dublin, at least the 1990s research in psychiatry have searched for specific genes that have a major influence on a person's risk for mental disorders. But scientists have failed to turn up reliable evidence.
Okay.
So they've failed to turn up reliable evidence that any single common genetic variant matters, which when it comes to mental illness, earlier this year, a research team reported that none of the 18 candidate genes for major depression genes that passed the studies had suggested they might have any meaningful correlation.
Yeah, but you can have a gene for mental illness, but it's not a gene for depression. But you probably are much more likely to have depression if one of your parents had depression or both.
I mean,
we also know that schizophrenia is genetic because we've done the twin research, and you have 47% rate of if one twin has the schizophrenia, the other one would. So
I
we
mean,
know this stuff.
this goes into a lot of studies about genes and disproving studies. Now, at the end of the day, you can look at any study and disprove it from an argumentative perspective. Like, this is an article at the end of the day. It's not a study. What we're reading is an article. So it's based off of the opinion of the writer of the article and what research they have done. Now, would I agree? No. I think there is a genetic component. I definitely think there's a genetic component to it.
I mean, definitely, but there's also an environmental. For example, think about if you're a kid and you're raised by a depressed mom. There's a possibility that you can also learn to be depressed from the affect of that mom. And there are research that says that. So sometimes you have a good chance of becoming depressed if you're raised by a depressed mom or dad because of the behavior that they've exhibited raising you. At the same time, if they are depressed and you have the gene, then you are more at risk of becoming depressed than someone else. So nowadays, they're not sure, is it environment or is it genetic? But we know that genes play a big part.
Yeah, that's...
I think.
You think, you know.
Which is true.
Well, it applies to fitness and everything, like even with doctors. They said friggin' cholesterol kills you. Now they're saying cholesterol doesn't. They said fat kills you and sugar was okay. So...
They're saying cholesterol doesn't kill me anymore?
No, there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
I know, but they say the bad cholesterol kills you, right?
Well, I don't know. There's some arguments that say yes, no, and do we need it? Some people say we do need it for our body. I don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know shit about the human body. Like, let's be realistic.
But
at
the end of the day, do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, look, doctors
what
know.
the hell?
Doctors know. We only know so much. I think we only know the tip of the iceberg on the human body. But in reality, there's so much we're just learning about. If we knew it all, we would learn like reverse aging. I think that would be...
Oh, now I would want to know that.
I would want to know that, but I don't think we're anywhere near it because we can't comprehend it.
Of course. Because, to study the brain, the person has to be dead before we can study it. And by then, we can't study the brain anyways.
All right, the next one, the 5 stages of grief.
It's wrong?
Not wrong.
I know there are 5 stages. Kubra Ross would die if she finds out this is not true.
Well, in reality...
But one thing I disagree with, which now more and more people, back in the days, they used to say that the stages came one by one, right? That you have to go through the first one before you go to the second one, the third one. Now the research is saying, I don't know what this one is saying, but the new research is saying that sometimes we can go back and forth. Sometimes we can skip some. Most of the time, people are either living in the anger stage or the bargaining stage.
It's basically what this is saying.
Oh, good. I have good information.
Yeah, that's basically what they're saying right
So there
here.
is stages, except that we don't have to go through all of them.
It's not clear. They're saying the stages aren't clear, that you can go through them, you can bypass some of them, you can go back and forth.
That's right.
And it's
They're
saying
not set in stone anymore.
Yeah, it's not set in stone. And it's like... Some people could be more susceptible to it.
Yes.
Some people aren't as susceptible.
And it depends on your relationship with the person who's diagnosed or dead. Some people that they're a little sad, but then they're okay. The life moves on. You know what? I know a couple of people recently, they've lost somebody important to them. And I see them and they're like, life goes on, Juliet. What can you do? So are they in denial? No. They've accepted it. They moved through and accepted because this is the way it is.
And that's what it's saying. Studies have shown.
Yeah.
That's what studies have shown, that most people
Everyone
have moved
deals
through.
with it differently.
Yeah, they'd be really upset for a certain amount of time, and then they would kind of bounce out of it.
Yes, and I also think that it depends on the attachment issues you had with that person. So if you're very attached to that person, they're moving from one stage to the other and might take longer.
Yep.
But if you weren't attached to that person, especially if they were sick, you have already come in term with their terminal illness, then it's a different story.
See, this I have no idea about. Attachment styles.
Attachment styles.
Early interaction with parents do not critically determine how people relate to others when they grow.
I don't agree with attachment styles.
You don't? Why?
No.
They don't agree with it either.
Because I feel like just the way I interacted with my parents doesn't really determine that I was attached or not attached.
It's basically what they're saying in this article. They're just saying it's a theory. Like, there's been nothing proven about attachment styles.
There's nothing. But then, you read all these things that talks about secure attachment, no attachment. negative attachment. Don't you remember when we were talking about in psychology? And then they're like, when a kid is dropped at daycare, if they cry a little bit and then they go on, they have a positive attachment.
Yeah.
If they continue to cry and cry and cry and they wait for their parent, and then when the parent comes, they don't even accept their return, something like that. So this is all BS.
That's basically what they're saying here.
So you don't create any sense of bond. It's a bond, not an attachment.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying? I agree with bond. Like we create bonds.
They're basically saying like there's a difference between childhood attachment and later adulthood attachment.
Right.
And that it changes and varies based off of the people. And there's no direct study that can indicate
that if
one
you
thing or another.
Oh, and there's no direct research that says if you've developed attachment as a child, like a negative attachment or no attachment, that doesn't have any influence on the relationship you would have later on as an adult.
Or it's a behavior created by the parent too.
Or that's a behavior created by the parent.
Because some parents will create, that was in here too, that some parents could create that behavior so that the child stays more in tune with them or more like
close to them.
Yeah.
So the parents have an attachment
Pretty
problem.
much. Yeah, I know, right? So
they don't want their
they're
kids.
just sick in the head. But I mean,
but this is so interesting.
It is. And one thing I like about it is like it's 10 myths about the mind. I like it because it's an article and it brings out these studies. And to me, at the end of the day, and this is what I love about articles, they're opinion pieces, right? And it's just, we don't know shit. We really don't. Like everything changes. Like you could think the abnormal psychology book is right today. And in 3 weeks, someone could come out with these new theories that have been tested through research and, prove otherwise.
Yeah. And sometimes like that's kind of like scary because then you don't have any sort of like foundation, but really actually all the theories from the beginning, that is a foundation. But because we're continuing to learn human behavior, that we have to remember nothing is black and white.
Yeah.
So we have a base and then that base can change in accordance to the era that we're living in. I know I'm a psychologist and I know I'm supposed to like appreciate a lot of these theories, but to be honest, a lot of times I hate when we try to box a human behavior in certain ways. I mean, even in graduate school, like a lot of times my teachers I'll drive them crazy, my professors, because I'm like, well, who says that? And why is it that I have to be like that? And I do agree with disorders and I know that we diagnose and I agree with symptoms. But as far as like when people say, well, if you didn't have a nice relationship with your father, you won't have good relationship with men. Like who says that? There must be other people that didn't really have a good relationship with men, like women who are raised with a single mom, right? But then it doesn't determine that she's not going to be able to find an attachment with a man, even though she's never had a man as a role model, and that she will not have successful marriages.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While there are people that are raised by both parents, regardless if they were a healthy relationship or not, and then she gets in promiscuous relationships, she is not stable in her romantic relationship, and she doesn't end up having a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I feel like, not to dismiss it, I think it's important that we have these theories, and I think that they
100%.
help
Yeah,
us
it's a guide. It is a guide. It's a guide. It's like,
but I hate when there are people out there that kind of like they put you in this box.
Yeah.
Well, research says this, so you must be this, or you're feeling like we were talking about grief.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because it's like there are people out there. It's like, oh no, but if you say, what can I do? This is life. Then they automatically, some psychologists would have said to my friends who both too, one last month and one 2 months ago lost their father, right? And when I saw them, I'm like, well, how are you doing? Juliet, life goes on. They were like having gathering and they were out and no problem. And then I was like, other people would have read this as denial.
I think the 10% that they were talking about that don't get over grief in this article are the 10% that might lose a child. I think that
now because there's parents there's a survival skill.
I wouldn't even want to think of that. Like,
yeah,
I don't even want to think
but
that.
But can you survive it? Of course. Now we're not talking about that you will not be able to survive now, but are you able to survive it later? Yes, because there are parents who have lost a child and they have the survival skill, but there are some people never moved on from that stage of anger.
Yeah.
right? And they didn't even go through the other Cobra Ross stages and stayed angry for a long time until they die. And there are other people, even though they were attached to their kid and they loved their child, still were able to manage to tap into their psychological immune system and do something. They were able to do something with that anger, something positive for their child.
Yeah.
So I always wondered, like, why are some people unable to move on from someone that, like a parent? How do they move on? Some people move on, not quickly, but they move on in their own way when their child dies, and other people don't, for example.
Yeah.
So does it have something to do with their attachment in their parent? Is it that they feel guilty because they don't feel
Maybe.
like they are deserving of to survive when their child died? I don't know.
It's not something like I'd want to think about, to be honest with you.
No, I know.
That's one
I
thing.
don't either.
That's one thing I never want to think about. It's like we were talking the other day, me and a doctor, and he was telling me, I was like, dude, like it must be really hard. He's like, the hardest thing that I have to deal with, that I've ever had to deal with, was telling a parent their child wasn't going to make it. He said, I can deal with anything, any shit you throw at me, but that is the one thing that. And he's like, I'm a dad. He's like, I'm a father. So it's like I'm telling them while crying. He's like, it's that hard. And like, I get it.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
No, I mean, I was a crisis worker for a long time. I love doing crisis. And then, of course, whenever there's a death, they call the psychologist or the whatever. We were the ones in
You were
training.
the whatevers.
We were the whatevers.
You were the whatevers.
The one in training. They call you. Can you please come? We need, this family has lost code blue. And it was like, when you're talking about a father, a husband, whatever.
Yeah.
Not that everything was easy, but to really tell someone of a child, it was even harder for me to explain it to them, because then they want to know why and what happened. I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
Like I told you, ever since my brother died, I don't like doing grief. I know a lot about it, so I don't like talking about
you like
grief.
stay away from it.
And
That's
actually, I just did
understandable.
an episode about grief, and I said that I've lost my brother.
Yeah.
And don't you remember when you first started at UK, that kid died?
Yeah, I
remember his
remember that.
name.
No, I remember
And do you
that.
remember when
Yeah.
we had a little ceremony? Not ceremony, what were we? Condolences. We had it at the university.
Yeah, you broke down. I remember. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday, because you were like sobbing. You broke down.
I couldn't believe it. But did you see the parents? I felt so bad for them, because I remember my parents.
Yeah.
And I
then-
remember how my parents' life was never the same.
I think I looked at the parents. I left.
I mean, my
stayed-
parents stayed angry for a long time. I don't think they've ever finished the Kubla. My dad died,
Yeah.
4 years ago, but still, like, I feel like my dad was managing. But I think my mom, she stayed angry for 20 years.
I think moms.
And I'm angry at
moms
her
might
for
hold
being
on to-
angry.
But I think moms hold on to it more than dads. Like
Well, maybe because I don't know.
my dad deals with it in his own way, but he's a lot easier than my mother, and he's kind of not moved past it, I would say, but accepted it.
Yeah. But how long did it take your mom to accept it?
My mom still hasn't accepted it.
Yeah. see?
My mom her life's been on hold since my brother died. Like,
Doesn't that make you angry? Because my mother, the same thing. She made all our lives on hold because she couldn't accept it. Like, it's not like I was happy about it. We were all in pain.
yeah.
But somehow, because she was in pain, she put a stop to our life.
It depends on the person, though. I mean, I think it just depends on the parent. Like, some parents are like, hey, well, yes, it sucks. Yes, all this, but I got 3 other children or 2 other children that I have to worry about. So some parents do think that way.
Yeah.
But others, I think they're just kind of more self-absorbed into their own grief.
Yeah, I think they were more selfish.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. No, I'd agree with that 100%.
Definitely. I mean, it's all about the way she processed the grief. She
I actually
didn't-
had a really tough moment the other day. It was a really tough moment.
What happened?
And this is part of me that I tend to bury and forget.
Mm.
And DJ was with me, so it was even that much harder. I opened up my old baseball card bag. Like, I have a little carry-on suitcase that I've had for like 20 years, and it has all my baseball cards in there. And I had forgotten that I had 3 of my brother's shirts in there.
Oh.
So as DJ was like sitting on the bed, and like I'm tearing up right now just talking about it. He's sitting on the bed and he's like, Daddy, what is this? Why do you have these clothes in here, Daddy, with these cards? And I was like, oh, these were your Uncle DJ's. And like real quick, I just took the shirt, took a whiff of it, to smell it.
Yeah.
I don't know if his scent's still there, but it's just that,
Yeah.
that
How'd
feeling.
you feel?
Overwhelmed with emotion,
Mm.
but so happy and grateful for everything that I've built after my brother's death.
Yes.
And so grateful that my son was right there.
Yeah.
And then I expressed that emotion in front of him. And then I told him what it was about. Granted, he had no clue. Like, he's 5. So he's like, what is this dude talking about?
Yeah.
But I was like, look, this was your Uncle DJ's, shirt.
Does he
was like,
say, oh, he has the same name as me? Or he knows his name?
no, he goes quiet about it. It's weird.
Does he not recognize they both have the same
he
name?
He does. I just don't think he kind of gets it. I don't think he understands that what death is. Or when someone's gone, you know what I mean?
Even adults don't understand.
Like, even when my dad gave me a bunch of pictures. That plastic bags. My dad giving me pictures of like my childhood and everything. And
he decided
it's the
to give it to you
weirdest
now?
thing. Like, yeah, I know, right?
What's he cleaning up the attic?
No, he's printing out all of his pictures. Like,
for what?
He likes putting pictures up on the wall.
Wow.
So
he gave it to you for what?
For the new apartment or the new house.
So you can put some more pictures up.
So we can put more pictures up.
But he's got some he put up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He has pictures everywhere.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, it was really cute. Yeah. I walked in. He's like, yeah. He's like, I blew my son DJ's up. He's like, I blew his picture up. Look, I put it right underneath the light so it shines down. I was like, oh, that's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was. So, he gave me pictures and I was showing DJ. I was like, oh, DJ, this is your Uncle Ade. And DJ kind of looks and my dad goes, he's in. And I'm like, and for those of you, the English listeners, he's like, yeah, give him a complex from now. And I'm like, but this is something I want him to know growing up, that daddy had a brother. Like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's important to me. But yeah.
No, I do the same thing. And whenever we're back to Chicago, we go to the grave. They see my brother's grave. My father's grave is right next to it. But because also my mom, every time she goes, she still visits the grave. And unfortunately, it's like 2 minutes from our house. I don't know when she's going to move. But anyways, it's like every Sunday after church, then she goes to, and we do incense, the Bukhor thing. And then she's like, so whenever we're there, they will go because they know. So there's my brother's picture is on the grave. So they go and they know that this is Uncle Sam. And they every summer, every summer they ask, Mom, when are we going to go see the Uncle Sam's grave?
Yeah.
And Grandpa, but they are very fascinated with Uncle
amazing,
Sam.
You show them importance to it.
Yeah, of course. And
great.
they know. And so, of course, my son 15, he understands it. But my 10-year-old, she's like, where is he exactly? Then you don't know what to say. And then you're like, well, he's with God. And, get on to all this conversation. So, but I know that my mom always has a hard time talking about it. And I feel like, I don't know when she's ever going to get to the idea where she can at least talk to her grandkids about it. But.
Well, that generation, they'll never get there. If your mom's anything like my mom, it just ain't happening.
I know, but I feel like it's very selfish. Like they've never gone through the stage. They're stuck at one stage, which is fine. You want to be stuck there.
Look, honestly,
why allow everyone else to be
that
stuck
ship
in
has
that
sailed.
stage?
With my mother, that ship sailed. Like
my mom was doing bargaining, which is the third stage, all the time. Maybe I should have been this. Maybe I should have gone to church more. They goes on and on trying to bargain, and which is normal.
Yeah.
But then it goes on for years. It's not normal.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't do anything about it, but you could have done. And then I know families that are like, let's say their loved one just got diagnosed of cancer. Then they're like they'll go into bargaining right away. First they deny it. Then they skip the anger. Then they're bargaining with God. Like, maybe I could do this. Maybe I can give more money to charity. Maybe this. And all this because we're trying to buy time, right?
Yeah. No.
And it's sad, but what can you do,
No, exactly.
So I think these stages do exist, but I don't think that they have to exist in the way it is like before. And when I was in school, they're like, no, first you deny, then you become angry. And they never taught us okay, I get angry. And then, because then if you go into acceptance right away, then you think there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
To this day, people are like that. So my friends are like, yeah, life goes on. We love it. It has no barrier to how much you love the person.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. I think there's enough research to support. I think there's enough research to support that everybody's different. And not one rule of thumb applies to all. And that's
true. And even the left hemisphere, right hemisphere brain. There are people that are good in both skills. There are people one skill, not the other. And it's nice to now know, if these are very factual, is that no longer do we have to say, oh, you're the left brain. We don't need to label people. You're intelligent. Doesn't matter which part of the brain is expediting the intelligence.
No, exactly. And if you're a neurologist listening to the show and you disagree with us, please, by all means, shoot us a DM and you are more than welcome to come on the
here
show and prove us wrong. Seriously. Because I honestly think they use what's it called? The brain scan, the neuro. They used it in marketing where it's like when your brain lights up when you get certain thoughts and whatever.
Yeah, neuroimaging. No, let me see. Yeah, I know what
It's
you're
on
talking
the tip of
about.
my tongue.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that even with that, we don't know that much. Like we know a grain of
I
salt.
mean, there's the imaging of the
in
brain.
we know a grain of salt in a truck full of salt, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like we don't know that much.
But then the more we learn, the more, like, for example, knowing like where's the with schizophrenia, for example, where's the decay, where's the gray matter, right?
Yeah.
Because they're determining, now with people that are susceptible to schizophrenia or have, I mean, we don't really have all the research of saying what does the brain would look like before you have schizophrenia.
Yep.
But we know that when people have schizophrenia and when we've seen the images of their brain, we know that there's gray matter in certain area that it doesn't exist. And there's vertical, the beginning.
Yeah.
So the idea is that I'm sure that there are more and more research that's going to happen where maybe they can detect schizophrenia prior to the person having the symptoms.
That would be, yeah. Pre-detection would be good.
Pre-detection. And then I know a lot of people, like sometimes a lot of people ask me, is there a genetic test we can do to see if we have certain susceptibility to certain things? And I say, yes, of course, there's genetic tests you can do. But again, this is not 100%. And the geneticist, he tells you this is not 100%.
Say that like 10 times fast.
Yeah, really. I think that when, a lot of times people are trying to do their best to weed out as much abnormality as we can.
Can't do it.
But we can't play God.
You can't. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Because I also know people have done the test and realized what genes they have and what DNA and still have abnormality. Even though the gene says they had no problem. And then I know people that say you're a carrier of certain things and you are susceptible to certain things. And then they have a normal child.
No, do you want to laugh?
Mm.
I saw an ad by a clinic here in Kuwait that said, we can help you predetermine the sex of your child. Come see us, and you will have a 50% chance of having a boy over a girl, or a 50%.
Well, you're gonna have 50%.
I know. And I'm like, are you an idiot? But do you know how many idiots probably bought into that ad?
Because they didn't understand the 50%.
They didn't get the 50%.
That's right.
Like, they didn't understand, you idiot. You have a 50-50 shot anyways.
But do you know what kills me is that I've had clients who says, because, they've had boys and they want a girl, or they've had all these girls and they need a boy. And especially like we need to talk about it in one of our topic where there's a push in this culture to have boys.
Yep.
And so the idea is that apparently there are like ways and methods that you can really do to determine the child's sex.
Yeah. For all the ladies out there, stand on your head and just hope. And then for all the guys, as my great grandmother told me, pee on your wife's back.
Did she really?
She did, yeah.
And that brings you a boy?
No, not a boy. My great grandmother, God rest her soul. I loved her. I was so close to her too. As she was getting older, she kind of let loose a little bit more. So there was one point in time where I just got married. It was like 3 months later. She goes, Mehdi, is Haya pregnant yet? I'm like, no. She goes, what, are you not a man? Are you gay? And I'm like, okay. I was like, all right. She was like, does it not work for you? Talk to your father. He'll teach you. And I'm like, okay. So then like a few weeks later, is she pregnant yet? No, she's not. And then she says, come here. She calls me over. And like, she's like 90 at this point. She goes, look, when she's in the shower, just pee on her back. That will bring you a child. And I'm like, okay. So I look at my aunt, I go, Auntie, she just told me to pee on my wife's back. And she was like, okay.
And it worked. You have DJ.
I know. I must have peed on Hayes' back a million times.
So interesting how
I didn't pee on my wife's back, just so we're clear. All right.
But the funny thing is that they
do you know there's a thing for that too? They call it a golden shower.
Really? Is that what it is?
I'm going to teach you all the new shit that I'm learning.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
A golden shower?
Yeah, it's a sexual act. You pee on your partner.
It's a sexual act, okay, but is it really getting her to be pregnant? I don't know where you.
No, it doesn't.
Your grandma.
No, my great grandmother. She
your
said
great
pee on her.
grandma knows all this stuff.
No, she didn't know golden shower. They used it as pee on her so she gets pregnant. Like
maybe it's not, but she's telling you to get pregnant.
No, she told me to pee on her back.
No, what I'm saying is that it probably was a sexual act.
I don't know.
I don't think your great grandma's
going
going to tell you
She
that.
told me to pee on her back so she gets pregnant.
But you must have been in the shower.
I
so you
don't
can
think my
pee
great
in-
grandmother was saying. I don't think my great grandmother was saying, "Yo, give your wife a golden shower. She'll enjoy it." Like I highly doubt.
She
that.
probably didn't know the terminology, but back in the days, if they're taking a shower together, he had peed on her back, and then she gets pregnant.
Dr. D, I don't know what you do. All right, Dr. D, I don't know what you do in your spare time.
I don't even have a spare time. I am learning all these terminologies from you.
I know.
I'm like, Ma, at this age,
I'm telling you,
I
the
have all
listeners
these,
like me more.
I don't think so.
I think so. I think
Remember, we're gonna get a vote, and I'll win. But if I win, what do I get?
I'll do TV. I'll do.
You'll
I
do
will
TV.
No, I will do Project TV.
Well, we said the project.
No,
What do you mean project TV?
we'll do a segment every 2 weeks. All right. Okay. And yeah,
Look, how is that? How is that anything for me?
we'll do a segment on the project every 2 weeks.
No, you go on a real TV
Hell
and you
no.
talk about the
How much are they
project.
going to pay me?
They don't need to pay you. It's an advertisement.
I don't need their advertising.
It's to bring awareness about the project.
I don't need any awareness.
Whatever.
I like slow growth.
No. You have to do something. If I win,
So
it can't
what-
be like this.
Well, I told you I will do filming with you for the
I
project.
already do filming. I don't need to do
yeah,
filming.
but for the project, you haven't done filming with me.
I know because you haven't invited me.
But I'm awesome at it.
How do you
Like
know?
that little ad we did like last week. Dude, that was pretty
How
good.
did that go?
A lot of people liked it. They liked the realness of it.
Really?
Yeah, they thought it was really good.
Have you sponsored it?
I sponsored it, but besides that, the people I have asked, they were like, "Yeah, it was pretty cool. It kept me engaged."
It was good actually.
It was.
I liked it.
That's because I told you I'm a
I
genius
looked good
writer.
in it.
You look good. I'm a genius writer.
You didn't write anything. You
I'm
just
spontaneous.
created that
I know exactly. I created it
out
on
of
the
your
spot.
ass.
Exactly.
And I love the way you expect me to just go along. Okay.
I think everyone is in my mind, so
Yeah.
they can read things.
I love the way you put me on the spot. Like, okay, I'm glad I can I'm
I know.
very good at spontaneity.
It's funny. To the first shoot, you're like, I didn't know what you were doing. You gotta tell me, what are we doing
What
here?
are we doing?
No, I know. It's like, yeah.
Oh
But
my god.
I think everyone could read my mind. And Hey always says this. She goes, Mehdi, I'm not a fucking mind reader. You need to tell me what you're thinking. So.
Exactly. Like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, I don't know what we're doing. Okay. It's good that I'm flexible.
Yeah. But before we end the show, this might be our last show in the studio.
Oh.
The next one will be in the new apartment.
Yes, you're moving.
Yep.
How do you know this is next week?
Yeah, next week.
Oh, the next time.
And I get some pretty cool surprises for the
You
new studio.
do?
It's going to be pretty much the same blue and black. I think I'm
Oh,
going
we
to
can't
add.
do anything else besides blue and black?
No, I like the blue and black.
Well, what about what I like?
It doesn't matter. It's my house. It's my signature.
It's our studio.
Well, all right, we'll put a couple pictures up
Okay.
of me.
Oh my god.
No, I'm going to put some
You
sport.
really have issues.
I'll give you a quarter of a wall to put some famous, I don't know, psychologist pictures up.
Can we
or
have a
something.
Freud picture, please?
All right, I'll do a Freud picture.
I mean, he's like my favorite man.
Freud picture's on you. When you get the Freud picture, I'll put it up.
Oh yeah, I have a nice one.
That's
Yeah,
because
it's
I know
good.
I'm not going to order a Freud picture.
No, we
I'm
can
going to
just-
get Red Sox on one wall. I'm going to have a Muhammad
but
Ali
you-
on another
Wait,
wall.
hold on a minute. The Project Kuwait has many factors. They have nutrition, wellness, and psychology.
Yeah, well,
So you need to have pictures of all three. The representation of all three.
but it's going
This
to be
is not about you.
it's
This is a studio for the Project Kuwait.
it's going to be a coolness studio.
No, you want to do socks and you want to do caps and all this. Do it in your bedroom.
No, Red Sox, Boston Red Sox.
I know
the
Red
baseball
Sox.
team.
Of course I
You
know
have the
that.
Chicago White Sox.
Of course. I'm saying this project has nothing to do with baseball.
Do you know the ambassador? The ambassador's the lady that contacted us when the ambassador came on the show.
Yeah.
They wanted to do the show in the same room that had the hats hanging on the wall.
Right, but no longer we will have that because this
I'm
is the
putting the hats
project.
back up.
No, this is the Project Kuwait podcast.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
the
again,
hats.
you
The
didn't-
hats are a good touch.
Fine, but nothing else for you.
All right.
Everything has to be about the project.
Okay.
You promise.
I'm gonna have.
If I win, this is how we're gonna do it.
Oh hell no! You get a quarter of a wall if you win.
Get some psychology stuff on there.
Like what? Freud pictures?
Yes.
Okay, I'll agree with a Freud picture.
Or a brain picture, or like
Can we have a What
personality.
About Bob picture? That was the best psychology movie ever made.
Yeah, we could do that.
Do you ever watch What About Bob?
Yeah, of course.
That was a great movie.
It's been a while though.
I think I'm
Oh
going to
my
watch it.
God.
I'm going to watch it next weekend.
Maybe I should rewatch
It's
it.
a good movie. You should have your class watch it too.
I thought I did. I think one of the project was to watch.
It was OCD, right?
I don't remember. It's been a
No,
long time.
he's
No, he had anxiety. I guess OCD. Is
yeah, it was
anxiety.
OCD. He wouldn't leave his house. He wanted everything particularly clean, and
And then he had rituals.
he had
Yeah.
rituals. I think it was OCD. I don't know. I got to watch the movie again. But
Not claustrophobic.
no, it wasn't claustrophobia. No,
I can't remember. I have to watch it again.
but it was a good movie. Funny as hell. I love Bill Murray.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, I like the 10 myths, though.
The 10 myths was a good one. See?
That was a good thing.
Told you. You got to pay me. Pay me to write this shit for you.
Whatever.
Your shows will be like number one.
Whatever.
Numero uno.
My
You could
shows
tell-
are going to be number one because of me.
You could tell the TV people they can get in touch with me through the Project Kuwait.
3,000 KD.
No, I'll go to 300 because they're cheap anyways.
Oh, 300.
But 300 will get them about
You know what they'll say to me?
what?
Sure, Doc. Just let her. You pay him.
I know, right?
Exactly.
They probably will. You
Their
can be like,
budget is
and
300.
that will only cover 10 minutes of my creativity.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, like dude, I'm expensive.
Khalas, we
That's
will
why I
do our
don't
own
tra-
show.
That's why I don't train people either.
Let's do our own show, and then we don't have to worry about it. And then it'll be in competition with my other show.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I think we would beat it.
Yeah, I think we would actually.
I'm pretty cool.
Okay, let's see.
Dr. D's like,
Talk
all
is
right,
cheap,
all right.
man.
Hey, dude, like, look, I'm the freaking man. All right.
I see that.
Yeah.
Freaking man. That's to discuss later.
On that note, and me dealing with my insecurities, we'll talk about that in another show.
Yeah, really.
Because most people that do say that shit are very insecure.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
I hate
That
people like that.
overconfidence doesn't work.
It really doesn't. We're doing a show on confidence, by the
We
way,
have to do one.
and intimidation.
And give tips on how to be confident the right way.
Yeah.
Not Mahdi way.
No, you know, I've had someone in an interview say to me after the interview, she's like, I wasn't sure I wanted to hire you because you dance that fine line between being cocky and confident. And I really didn't know. I think she was threatened by my,
Confidence.
yeah. That's
Or cockiness.
I wasn't cocky.
You could come across as
I
cocky.
don't know. I really.
No, I've never seen you as cocky, but you are sarcastic. Sometimes people don't understand your sense
No,
of humor.
I'm but when I speak business wise, it's
No, you're
confidence.
confident.
I'm very confident.
You come
in what I
with
say.
your information.
Yeah,
But some people, confidence, they can see it as cocky. So that's
That's
our
true.
next show.
that is very true. So everybody, thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave us a rating and review, and make sure you go on to the Project Instagram in the stories.
And
Vote
vote for
for
me.
Vote for Mehdi.
Me.
All right, if you
Dr.
vote
D.
for Mehdi, I could probably
you
get you
won't.
on the show too.
No, you won't.
I will bribe. Okay.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.